Lugalbanda, the young fierce king, is a character found in Sumerian mythology and literature. Lugalbanda is the most important Sumerian god when attempting to understand this belief system. Anzu, which means the divine storm bird, was known as Lugalbanda, the lusty king, and was the patron deity of the city of Marad, Sippara, which means bird city. He brought the lightning, the fire from heaven, from the gods to men, giving them at once the knowledge of fire and the power of reading the future in the flashes of the storm, similar to Prometheus. Therefore he was an outcast from the gods. Prometheus was also a bird god, which is almost identical to that of Zu. They had stolen their secret treasures and secret wisdom, and had communicated them to mankind. Nergal, the fighting cock, also goes by the name Lugalbanda. So if you think this is a good deed, please think again. Lugalbanda is listed on the Sumerian king list as the second king of Uruk, stating that he ruled for 1200 years, and providing him with the epithet, the shepherd. Why does that sound familiar? Lugalbanda's existence and rule, as a king who historically ruled over Uruk, and at what time, is uncertain. Attempts to date him to the early Dynastic II period are based on an amalgamation of data, with unclear archaeological observations. There is an axe with Anzu, dated from 3500 BC to 8000 BC, so this figure is much older. Lugalbanda prominently features as the hero of two Sumerian stories, dated to the Ur-3 period, 21st century BC. As above, so below. As it was, so shall it be again. Zuism, 2013. This story, named by scholars Lugalbanda I, or Lugalbanda in the Mountain Cave, and Lugalbanda II, otherwise known as Lugalbanda and the Anzu Bird. Both are known only in later versions, although there is an Ur-3 fragment that is quite different from either 18th century version. These tales are a part of a series of stories that describes the conflict between Enmerkar, King of Uruk, and Eshukeshtana, Lord of Areta, presumably in the Iranian highlands. Based on the data, I would suggest that the location of Areta was further north. In these two stories, Lugalbanda is a soldier in the army of Enmerkar, whose name also appears in the Sumerian king list as the first king of Uruk and predecessor of Lugalbanda. But of course, they are usurpers of the throne, and it was a female, Enmerkar, that was the first king of this region, but the name refers to the notorious harvest female being domesticated. If this is propaganda, they would not use the original names. And Ishtar appears to be the brother of Lugalbanda, the bow star from heaven, which I can explain later in the documentary. The extant fragments make no reference to Lugalbanda's succession as king following Enmerkar. Lugalbanda appears in Sumerian literary sources as early as the mid-3rd millennium BC, as attested by a mythological text from Abu Salabik between Lugalbanda and Nin-Sun. This would be the mother of Gilgamesh. But the name Nin-Sun is interesting. Nin-Sun or Nin-Summon. This is very similar to the myth of Beowulf and the woman in the mountain, who is actually the golden dragon. In Akkadian, Zu means gold, and gold is the tribute of kings. A deified Lugalbanda often appears as the husband of the goddess Nin-Sun. In the earliest god list from Farah, his name appears separate, and in much lower ranking than Nin-Sun. But in later traditions, until the Seleucid period, his name is often listed in god lists, along with his consort Nin-Sun. From all of this we can see the evolution of this character, from a soldier to becoming a god king. Ample evidence for the worship of Lugalbanda as a deity comes from the Ur-3 period. In the Old Babylonian period, Sin-Kashid of Uruk is known to have built a temple called E-Kigal, which is dedicated to Lugalbanda and Nin-Sun, and to have assigned his daughter Ninsi-Ini-Zu as the Eresh Dengir priestess of Lugalbanda. In royal hymns from the Ur-3 period, Ur-Nammu of Ur and his son Shulgi describe Lugalbanda and Nin-Sun as their holy parents, and names Lugalbanda as his god. In the Akkadian epic of Gilgamesh, and in earlier Sumerian stories about the hero, Gilgamesh calls himself the son of Lugalbanda and Nin-Sun. In the Gilgamesh and Huawa tale, the hero consistently uses the asserted phrase, "By the life of my own mother, Nin-Sun, and of my father, holy Lugalbanda." In the myth of Marduk, the repeated line is, "Let the fire god be quenched," and this is very dark. In the Akkadian version of the epic, Gilgamesh also refers to Lugalbanda as his personal god, and in one episode presents the oil-filled horns of the defeated bull of heaven for anointing his god, Lugalbanda. But of course, there is a twist to this tale, because the father of the great bull from heaven is none other than Zu. Anzu is extensively being venerated under many different disguises. Anzu is the weapon, the Cupid's arrow, who is the child and brother of Ishtar. Ishtar, the bow star from heaven, otherwise known as Mulban, is the bow, and Lugalbanda would be the child and brother of Mulban, and this would be the mysterious figure that is merged with Ishtar. What is a bow worth without an arrow? As above, Mulban, so below, Corona Borealis. So there are three contradicting stories relating to Lugalbanda. The problem is, they are the same story. Anzu, a name of a species of terror bird. The ostrich has 3 stomachs, and are the fastest animal 2 legs. So there we have the division into 3, and speed like none other. This is all symbolic, isn't it? If you are familiar with the myth of Beowulf, a golden dragon takes the form of a woman to create a hybrid child with the king. Not once, but twice in the story. Like Anzu, there is promise of great power and ability, which indicates a repeated cycle. And I believe these stories are parallel to one another. I believe there is also a connection to Solomon and Akhenaten, as J.R.R. Tolkien used the elements of Beowulf to create the Ring of Power. King Solomon was given a ring of lapis lazuli by an angel to give him power over demons, which built the temple for him and then plagued him for the rest of his life. That would be the angel of trickery, meaning the bird man. The tablets created by the goddess Nisaba were written on lapis lazuli, and Anzu is depicted on lapis lazuli, which is said to empower speech when worn as a necklace. The word Zu means the voice. The term Holy Lugalbanda. The word holy is actually a riddle. The origin of the term is Numa Hagios or Numa Hagion, the meaning of which is that which is breathed or blown, that which is different and unlike the rest. Lugal, king. When the master gets angry, he kills. Banda, the child. If you don't mind, you can put those together yourself.